Alright, welcome everybody to the second best of 7 of the day on the Xsplit Duels. Xsplit, of course, would like you to know about their new Gamecaster. Check it out, xsplit.com. For now, though, ladies and gentlemen, spawning here in the top left corner of Frost. It's going to be your Terran Supreme Overlord, however you want to refer to him, from Team Acer, Acer Esports' worst intro ever. It's MMA!
And in the top left,
Bottom left?
bottom left.
Wow, we're so good.
Frost. What a good start. In the bottom left of Frost, we've got our red Cirque player playing for Team Liquid, powered by HyperX. It is Snute.
Alright, so we may have had the worst intros to the best series, guys, but you'll forgive us as we get into this. We're a little bit excited, of course. MMA versus Snute, for those who didn't see the European qualifiers for IEM. They basically, if they didn't get seeded through, the qualifier bracket didn't conclude, they would have played each other. They're perhaps going to play each other again in IEM at the official event. These are two players who are so good, but
yeah.
If we're going to be honest, Snute, I got to give this guy mad respect. MMA, great player. Snute, amazing player. But watching Snute come back from the loser's bracket, getting knocked out of round 1, and making it to the finals of the IEM qualifiers, I don't know that I could have fallen in love with a player better than that.
Yeah, that was a really, really sick run, and, you know, of course, I kind of forgot about the MMA taking that other spot, so, yeah, this is such a sick match. Greatly looking forward to it.
I actually want to explain a small complication we ran into trying to set this up, guys. MMA and Snute were worried about running into each other for WCS, so there was a little bit of indecision about perhaps fighting each other for this particular show match, but we finally convinced them into doing it. And of course, then they qualify for IEM together at the same time, and basically, you might see a lot of MMA and Snute in the near future.
Yeah, but I mean, MMA did lose in WCS, right?
Yeah, sadly to see.
Yeah, he did.
You know, that's actually really important. I want to tell a small story about MMA while we wait for this to get up, guys. We were given some money a long time ago. That's part of why this got together, by the way. Xsplit sponsoring the first show match. We threw together the second one, and we, of course, all came together to make this one glorious day. But last time MMA was in Germany for WCS, one of his fans donated some money. So, hey, look, we love the whole money speaks thing you do. Can you get a show match with MMA? And I said, you bet your ass we can. So I contacted him. I talked to him about it. Sadly, it was as he was leaving Germany. And he said to me, basically, like, when I go back to Korea, I don't want to play a show match. Sorry, no offense. I want to train, and win WCS. Now, it's sad that he didn't get back to WCS, but mad respect to the fact that this guy would not disrupt his training schedule for even one best of 7 because he wanted to win so badly. And in that regard, it's even a little bit sadder that he got knocked out. But the other hand, too, here he is, back at Germany, ready to play that show match that he promised us a couple months ago. So, true to his word, MMA is a gentleman and a truly dedicated player.
Yes, and there's already a few interesting things going on in this game. MMA did go for CC first, so we're not going to have those common Reapers. So, you know, as, you know, the map being Frost, not that unexpected, but Reaper is a very common opener. But also, we saw Snute go for the gasless opening into a bit of a later gas. So that's, you know, kind of what he likes to do in CVP and CVC. But it's not that common versus Terran to take that one gas a bit later. So that's kind of cool. But it's really nice for him since he was up against CC first to take that gas a little bit later. Just, you know, get a bit more minerals to work with. He's probably going to be getting a nice and quick third, I'd assume.
Right, and another thing going on at the same time. With having gone for Marines first, not only do you not really get to scout a lot as a Terran player, but you also don't provide any pressure. There's no need for Snute to make between 6 and 10 lings. He doesn't have to be on the defensive. I mean, he's a player who is known for making quite a decent amount of queens in the early game anyways, but MMA playing super defensive like this also gives Snute a lot of free reign to just drone. I mean, like crazy drone. And Snute, jokes aside, guys, he's one of those players who's known for his drones. You know, him and Rhett, there's always kind of jokes about Home Story Cup and all these things, but 70 to 100 drones, if they can get there, they're going to win the game.
Well, pretty much. But we're going to see the Hellions from MMA, so Snoot's going to have to take that into account. But he's got the link speed on the way now, so he's going to be getting those things out eventually. But, you know, the one thing that MMA does have with those 2 Marines out, he's going to be able to deny auto-scouting. We'd see, just as I say that, we'll see those Marines now starting to look for those Overlords. So we might see MMA, you know, he's got that 3cc on the way, but we might see maybe some sort of 3cc armory build, and I say that, and I actually missed that. There's a factory in the back of MMA's base. We might actually see Blue Flame.
It don't take so long to swap over, but okay, it is going to be Blue Flame coming out with that second tech lab. You're good, I didn't even catch that either. So it's weird, like you would expect the tech lab, obviously, from the barracks to be used for this, but not want to save the gas. He's actually just going to place a little bit a little bit, I guess, more cost ineffective, but it doesn't matter as long as he catches his opponent off guard. To talk about Blue Flame for a moment, though, guys, he shut Blue Flame down upon scouting it, which makes those 2 Marines that MMA made even more crucial. Because the second an Overlord scouts Blue Flame, Snute puts down 3 Evolution Chambers. He fully walls off, and that's the end of that. Blue Flame won't get anything done. But it's also a build that's so powerful that if it does go unscouted, oftentimes it catches players off guard, and that's just with Hellions, not even with Hellbats.
Oh, but Rishkin, do you know what I really love? Because Snute identified that this was CC first, and one thing that's scary about CC first is that you have those Marines out early to deny scouting. So what Snute's gonna do to kind of circumvent that, he's getting Overlord speed. He just finished. He's gonna be able to run those Overlord in. Look at the natural now, Overlord going in. He's gonna scout this, and he should, be able to react in time for this because Blue Flame is only halfway done. So that's a really nice thing for Snute. I really like that decision, but he doesn't go in. Is he gonna send in the other Overlord now?
Well, that's a good point, because the thing is, the actual physical Hellions he's seen aren't that 2 out of the order. He saw 2 on the other side, and he saw 3 still at home. This doesn't look like the banked up 10 plus you would normally have, but coming here charging forward, there are 4 Queens out, and this is what I was talking about. Snute's really known for making a lot of Queens, so gets up here to the front lines. Queen does wall this off. Lings try to connect to the Hellions. A couple slip by, but a couple's all you really need. Blue Flame's going to finish in a second here, and, well, I don't think MMA is going to get the damage he wanted.
Yeah, that was so cost efficient for Snute. He's not. We should pull those drones back. Yeah, okay, he's fine. Wow, so Snute did make 4 Creep Queens, didn't do that much, but that 1 Queen, that was weird. He kind of blocked that up in a weird way.
That timed out really poorly for MMA too. It's worth noting, he only got 1 Blue Flame blast off with the last dying breath of the last Hellion, so weirdly enough, had that Hellion not gotten that extra shot off, Snute may not have known this was Blue Flame. I mean, you don't really make a lot of Hellions like that without it, but still, it's just that weird thing to consider.
Yeah, and what I like for MMA is that he's taking this third so early, and he made some more Hellions, so he's going to be able to have map control still, kinda, even though the creep is looking pretty good. He's going to have that in those Blue Flame Hellions, to make sure he doesn't get counterattacked at the third base. So that's cool for him. But is looking in really good shape right now with 1-1 upgrades on the way. Like, he didn't try and get a Roach One or anything. He's kind of, I guess, assuming, did he see impact researching on the 1 barracks? And he saw the 2 E-base, so he knows it's not mech.
Hey.
So his opener going into the Ling upgrades is gonna be perfect for him.
Yeah, sure. I was noticing a little bit before, but I guess chat's starting to really catch on it. Would you mind rejoining this real quick for the call on Zoom? Because I think your mic's starting to get a little bit robotty.
Oh, okay, sure.
See if we can fix that for everybody.
Yeah.
Alright, so you guys gonna hear like a bing bong. This is like Namshire rejoining. We don't use Skype for this, but we are gonna try and make sure that the sound sounds good for you guys. It didn't sound so bad for me earlier, but I've noticed this game it's been a little bit extra robotty, so we'll just assume that's a quick refresh that will fix it, perhaps. But yeah, I mean, MMA is in a really, I wouldn't say terrible spot, but not in a situation he wants to be in. The whole point of going Blue Flame first, I'll go back. The whole point about going Blue Flame is you're meant to get a little bit of damage done, and he has not really, he's not even really been able to deny Creep Tumors. Snute with so many Queens is holding this off quite nicely. And it's worth noting, like, I've seen in the past as well, like, Axiom's Impact has held off Blue Flame, or not Blue Flame, but Hellbat, Hellion pushes with as little as 5 Queens and very little Lings and no Roaches. So what Snute did was not only be prepared, but he just played the way he normally does. This wasn't anything too extravagant, other than that really cool Overlord speed.
Yeah, and, I mean, that 1 Queen is a natural as well. Kind of, I mean, it wasn't really winding it off. It kind of blocked, like, half of the Hellions from squeezing past, so it got really, like, awkward there, and the Zerglings were able to hit the Hellions really cost efficiently, so that was a bit weird, but it worked out brilliantly, and, he's got the 4th base now. 2-2 way before MMA. MMA didn't even start this 2-2 yet, 1-1 finish. Does he have the armory?
Well, everything's going to be a little bit off for him, of course, because let's not forget that opening, it's not like a big dedication of an all-in with Blue Flame, but it does eat up a lot of your resources, so you're not really getting extra barracks for the tech labs or reactors. But pushing forward here, one thing that is a little bit concerning is we do have a lot of Banelings with creep to work with. Even with the Hellbats with Blue Flame, they're going to kill a lot of Banelings. The question's going to remain, will there be enough behind this? There's so many Banelings though, guys, honestly. 24 already available, 20 more on the way. Are we casting Snute or are we casting Hyun here? I mean, Jesus Christ, there's a lot of Banelings coming in.
That is so many Banelings, and I mean, does he need this many Banelings? There's not that many Marines on the field.
I think he's really worried about the Hellbats, and for that, it makes sense, because the Hellbat's going to demolish Banelings. I mean, do keep in mind, guys, Banelings have 30 health, and Hellbats with Blue Flame hit for 30 damage. So with the armor upgrades, they can take the hit right now, but if a couple of weapon upgrades go for the mechanical units, let's not forget, they benefit twice as much for the bonus versus light. So it's like +1 for regular damage, +2 for versus light, and these Banelings will get cooked alive even with those armor upgrades. But not yet, worth noting, not yet. That +1 weapon, vehicle weapons is so far off.
Yeah. I mean, I guess one reason why he might have made so many banelings is that he just wants to make sure he doesn't take any economic damage, because he's on almost 90 drones. He went down a little bit now, maybe he made something, but
drop goes off with the sapling too.
Natural, that's why.
Baneling's going off left and right. Didn't lose a whole lot of workers yet, but of course this drop's not finished yet for MMA. And I did a good job of distracting Snute. And, all the banelings were focused on those Hellbats running on the right side of the field. But on 4 bases, it's not like Snute he's suffering from having this many banelings. I mean, honestly, this is a huge advantage to be able to get away with this many.
Yeah, well, I mean, considering the kind of advantage Snute had from not, taking, barely any damage to that blue flame, MMA's done a good job of, putting pressure on Snute. He's gotten rid of so much creep, considering the, how the game went in the start. He's putting a lot of pressure here. And that army is hard to engage into. That's a lot of Hellbats, a lot of Marauders, the Widow Mines, nice plays.
It's really important that Snute doesn't engage off a creep with this many banelings.
Yeah.
So many times you watch Zerg player throw their army away because they get a little bit off creep, but everything MMA is doing is on the creep, and Snute might be wasting a lot of banelings to kill a very minimal amount of units, but those Widow Mine hits, a little unexpected.
Well, loses 3 mutas there, actually. Didn't quite realize.
Yeah, but that's not the control group? Rushes back over the defense. More Mutilisk actually being picked off by this Marine drop. Snute playing a little bit careless with his mutas, but we'll keep a lot of these drones alive, which is nice.
Oh yeah, I know why the mutas did that. Like when he A-moved to the left side, like 3 of the mutas were in range of the army above the mutas, so that's why 3 of them went off there, I think.
Can we give a little props to MMA right now? He's hitting in 4 different locations all at the same time. It's bouncing really back and forth between each one. He's losing out banelings little bit by little bit. These Hellbats can do a lot of damage. Widow Mines are going to get some decent connects too. And now he's forced to fight off a creep against Marines. I don't think so. MMA splits beautifully behind this.
Yeah, there are still 22 mutas. They're going to do well, but some reinforcements come in, so he's going to push the mutas back. And this creep spread is taking a big beating here. And there's no 5th base for Snute, and MMA is now muling his 4th. So MMA is shaping up nicely. This is like, he's playing really well right now.
Alright, well I want to stress one big thing here, guys, while this is sort of dancing around at the moment. The resources lost looks out of favor for in Snute, but this is kind of how it trades with banelings. Like, if you trade properly with banelings, you will always come out behind majority of the time. There's no Terran player who's going to allow you to get like those infinite crushes on like clumped up Marines. So right now, even though it looks a little bit worse for Snute, I'd still say he's a pretty solid spot, especially beyond his 2-2. The problem is, though, MMA has begun his 3-3, and once that finishes up, this changes up a little bit more, as the Marines will be a lot more effective versus the mutas. A couple Thors available too, but drops have been pretty much shut down at this point.
Yeah, Snute's gonna be wanna look for that 5th base eventually. That's, the problem with Frost, though, kind of. That 5th base is kind of vulnerable to drops. It's so far away from your other bases, kind of hard to defend, so Snute's gonna want to keep that muta count nice and high to be able to secure that 5th eventually. But with no infestation pit going down, no hive on the way, and 3-3 coming down for MMA off of 4 bases, yeah, MMA is looking good right now. If you can keep this creep back constantly, it's gonna be in a great position.
The Mutilisk count, though, is pretty scary. I mean, up at 23 plus, you got to be worried. This is not an amount that's out of hand yet, but it's an amount that you do have to be very wary of, because this can catch Medivacs off guard, Magic Box on top of the Thors. But as long as they clump like this, wow, Snute's going to take a lot of damage.
Yeah. And try catch those Thors. That's a good decision, I think. Has to be careful of. Oh, nice there. Sending the links forward to trigger the mines. Good move.
Really nice control. A lot of times you see a lot of banelings get wasted on those Thors, but keeping the banelings back, he knows these are necessary for the Marines. And it's the Marines that he really needs to crush in this push. It's not the Marauders, it's not the Thors. Hell, to an extent, it's not even the Widow Mines, because it's the Marines that are going to shut the Mutilisks down. And that's the true power of this army.
Yeah. And that army is so, like, MMA's army is so hard to engage into. There's nicely pre-spread, Widow Mines a bit everywhere, but here we go, Snute moving in. Oh, Widow Mines killed a lot of banelings already, but there's a lot of banelings still left alive. Behind it.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Snute's just had a lot of banelings in great abundance this whole game. A small drop does sneak off once again, but it gets shut down as there's only one Marauder left. Mutilisk chase back through the middle of the map, but once again, both players basically trade out, disengage, forced to remax. I think the big thing, though, is Snute's retaining Mutilisks a lot better now. Up to 31. Before he was trading out, he'd have like 20-ish. No real power counterattack potential. But as long as he keeps trading the banelings evenly with the Marines, the Mutilisks will take care of everything else.
And well, what I really like that MMA is doing, he's added on turrets like continuously, like in his natural. That's kind of a vulnerable area. So he realizes that the muta count is getting higher and higher. So he wants to make sure he doesn't take damage there. But this third base is a bit more exposed. But Rally should be able to take care of that.
You know, it's funny. Have you ever seen Jockshi get fed up with Mutilisks? He just slaps down like 8 turrets in a row, like right next to each other, just this huge clump. And always be only on one side of the command center. So it's always the funniest thing to see like 8 turrets there. You're like, yeah, this Mutilisk aren't going to touch me. And then everyone just swoops in from the other side. But no, yeah, MMA with 5 turrets is alright. But the sad reality is, guys, Mutilisk, it's not that they've got a lot of high DPS per se, but it's more about their burst damage. They swoop in, they disengage, regen, come back. And every time they'll be able to start like 1-shot, 2-shotting these turrets.
Yeah, and oh my god, right now there are 40 Mutas out, or 39, so, you know, Snute's gonna be able to deal some big damage with those soon, I think.
It's been a pretty wild back and forth. I mean, MMA's had his creep cleaned up, he re-puts it down, does Snute, and back and forth they keep trading out this sort of terrain in the middle of the map, and no one's really getting any economic damage done behind this, no one's really going for those extra bases. I do like that Snute's finally expanding to the bottom right, but it's a drop setup to go pick it off in a moment's time.
Yeah, that's actually true. Just got a Widow Mining there.
Actually, a little bit of breather room for Snute as he finally squeezes out the Infestation Pit. Hive will be coming too, and you know, it's this classic Zerg tale of the game. You're stuck on layer tech for so long versus most Terran players. And Snute's been playing pretty effectively off layer tech, don't get me wrong, but once he around.
Yeah, that's nice there, and Snute now being able to clean up some Widow Minings with this super high meter count, and yeah, he's kind of stabilizing now, and I think that's really good for Snute. He's looking for he's looking for some holes in MMA's defense now, not really finding any spots, but you know, Snute's gonna be feeling good in the in the position he's in with 42 Mutas out. He's not really taking any critical damage. It was looking a bit scary for him for a while, but MMA's gonna try to put on some pressure now, sacking some SCVs as well, but I think Snute is feeling good right now. He can get that 3-3 eventually.
I like that Snute didn't take the bait for those banlings. Like, if he wasted banlings on the SCVs, that would actually be a really bad thing for him.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, 10 Spines will, they'll help. They won't stop this push, though, but it'll certainly help the turret. Building Armor's coming up as well. It's such a small detail, guys, but Building Armor actually makes it so that the Mutilisk can't one-shot the turrets. So that's kind of a big deal to get those extra 1 or 2 shots up. But 4 starports behind this. What is MMA? He's gonna go Ravens behind this? I mean...
Well... Yeah, I don't... Did he make it like a fusion core or whatever?
Well, hang on. We'll look at a sec. The Mutilisks are going to wreck this army for MMA. We see no fusion core in the building structure stab at the moment, so just maybe Ravens, perhaps.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it doesn't take a lot of secret missiles to kill Mutilisks.
Yeah, well, you can run away from the missiles, though.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Point defense drones, auto turrets, well, whatever the case may be, we'll see what he uses the starports for in due time. Mutilisk are going to try to take on the army, but a little bit of an odd engagement takes him a lot more damage than I think Snute was expecting here. 1 or 2 good Thor volleys could wreck this Mutilisk clump that he's built up so preciously over the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, and I can't believe that Thor were actually in range of that hatchery as well as that Marauder, of course, shooting at it. So he does get that 5th base. That was nice.
I wasn't aware that was ranged, but now I know for the future.
Yeah, indeed. It's
like cool. When you find the cliff on like overgrowth and things like this, things that you don't realize had a range suddenly do, and you're like, oh, this changes everything. But Mutilisk getting up here to the north. There's a planetary, but there's no anti-air. This is all for naught. For MMA, of course, this is actually a pretty important engagement spot. It's worth noting, Snute's got a really nice bank behind this. MMA, however, does not really have much going in terms of minerals. Yeah, nice drop, though, at the 4th of Snute. That's going to be disrupting mining there. I think you kill a few drones. It's going to get pushed back now. But yeah, those mutas, man, like, this is where Snute feels good in the game, when you can get that high muta count, start denying the 5th of the Terran, but has to be careful. Well, he's going to engage here. A little bit off of creep, but he doesn't have a whole lot behind this. Now the Thors are volleying away quite nicely on top of this. The Banelings off of creep just can't quite connect to this army. There's 30 Mutilisks left, dwindling very quickly here, and Snute has actually lost the majority of his power. Oh my god, they clump up and take another Thor volley. Down to 19 Mutilisks. That 40 is so far away now. Yeah. He actually can't remax on them. He's going for Ultralisk instead, which isn't a bad choice, mind you, but still, of course, you want to be floating in with 40 Mutilisks if and when you can afford it. Yeah, I think it was, I mean, he did lose way too many mutas, yeah, but if he lost a few less mutas, I think that was really good for Snute, that fight. But Snute doesn't really have a high mineral income right now. Like, his naturalist mine out, his 4th is like barely mining. There's like 5 drones and minerals, so he doesn't have that so important remax that he would like to have. Like, if he was maxed out now, 200 versus 121, he could go for another big push and finish this maybe, but now he doesn't have enough money to work with. That 5th getting denied was so important for MMA. Snute just doesn't have the money to make this work right now. Yeah, I like this creep spray too, going to block out the command center, even if it's for just a little bit of time. Both players are, well, actually, MMA's not in as bad of an economic situation. He's muling like crazy at the space up here to the north, but neither player exactly rich at the moment, that's for certain. Yeah.
But I can't help but feel that that's gonna favor MMA, considering how many mutas were lost. If that fight was kind of even, but the mutas, most of the mutas stayed alive, it would be completely different. But the fact that expensive muta count got so much lower, the fact that they're both kind of dry on money right now, that's gonna favor MMA here.
Both of them having sniped those extra bases on the right half of the field, I mean, that was such a big deal for both players. It's worth noting, MMA's medevac count actually, not only is it kind of low, it's also very weakened. This is going to hurt a little bit coming forward into the game, because, of course, versus Ultralisk, you're going to be stimming like crazy, trying to kite around the map, and you need that extra healing.
Yeah, and we see MMA not using those star ports yet, because he realizes that, he could just die to an attack right now, and Snute is actually going to be going for it. I guess he's going to see what's up, see if he can do anything.
Oh, the Marauders are in the wrong place! Marauders up here to the north, trying to get through the starports. MMA had to reposition one. I bet you right now he's wishing he had those minerals and gas from the starports from Marauders. I don't know why you went for 4 starports. Ravens are always good to have, but it's more of like a mech late game than a bio late game to have.
Yeah, I think it was part of the fact that he didn't think he was going to lose his 5th base to those mutas. Like, if he was able to keep that 5th alive, he was going to be able to support, Raven production or something like that. But losing that base, all of a sudden, yeah, he would want to have that money into units instead. But he's going to mule the 5th hard now. That's really important for MMA.
Oh my god, MMA barely gets the base! With like the last Marine.
Wow.
Okay,
that's
well,
a really big deal.
But here's why this is important, guys. It's not that he loses the base and okay, now he's a bit strapped for cash. The reason these guys aren't getting super aggressive is because neither of them can afford to lose an army, is the thing. Snute, of course, has a little bit more harass potential through the speed and the mobility of these Mutilisks, but at the same time, it's not like MMA is going to have too much trouble dealing with an army engagement head-on. They're both pretty well matched, and a lot of this is going to come down to positioning and control, but this Mutilisk count, back up to 32, quite scary.
Careful. Yeah, I really like that he remade all those mutas, even though he took that really, bad fight in the middle. So he's going to be able, I mean, MMA's army is all the way up here. He's going to be able to go to the 3rd now, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's even got Overseers with this army, so that one would have minded the 3rd.
Oh.
Take that out. You can take the 3rd out if MMA lets him.
Losing that command center is going to sting a little bit, too. That was an extra mule that MMA had. This poor bunker. Rest in pieces, man. Goes to the base down here in the bottom right again. I think both players have recognized just how important base snipes are at this point, so we see a lot of focus around the harass more than an actual army engage. But Snute is going to win the harass game. I'm sorry, but like, as Terran players can cry all they like, I felt the other end of this too. You just can't outdrop Mutilisk harass damage. Not with one dropship, at least. Not with one medevac sort of scurrying around the outskirts of the map.
Yeah, what I really like, by the way, right now is that I was about to say that what MMA needs to do right now is to drop the 5th of Snute, but okay, Snute does move his units away as I say that, but Snute had like 3 Ultras parked at his, okay, this is why, okay, yeah, dropped into 3rd base, but Snute had 3 Ultras camping his 5th base just in case there was a drop, so when his mutas were out of position, he made sure that he had the units nearby to defend a drop.
I say, Mr. Pink, don't jump out of this game. Pretty epic series going on, like... The tug-of-war between these two as well, guys. It's 30 minutes in, and there's no swarmers or tanks make. Can we just give some whoop whoop to the fact that that's the case? Train up very efficiently with both of the endgame army supplies. We do have MMA looking to go for that attack to possibly try and end the game. Now, this isn't like an attack to the main that ends the game through tech. This is an attack that says whoever has no army behind this loses the game, because there will be no remax. MMA does have a sizable bank growing behind this, but his army's going to struggle to engage against Ultralisks and Mutilisks. There's not a whole lot of banelings, though, is the one good thing he has to look forward to. In fact,
yeah, I was about to mention that. That's like a really big thing. There's like, no banelings, and that's because Snute's extractors are all mined out, and he's mining gas at his 5th now, but he's got no banelings. He
literally has no gas!
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, fighting into the choke's going to be a bit rough, too, for both players. We'll see who can take advantage with this Mutilisk on top of the army. They got to make sure they don't clump up because of the Thors, but the Ultras are wrecking the ground force. Will there be enough Marines left over? Will the Thors be able to take out the Mutilisks? Oh, both players going to lose everything, but looks like Snute loses a little bit more. GG, MMA will take game number 1.
What a game. That was a sick game. Yeah, Snute really needed banelings there, but all the extractors were like, you mined all the gas.